Interviews that we're going to hold today, which is on the new film that's coming out, which is focusing on cancer. Okay, it's set to be quite a transformational film, what you can call a game changer, because it's quite innovative in terms of its approach to the subject of cancer. And I've got with me today the script writer, Daniel Matthews, who's going to sort of just talk to us and give us a bit of in-depth insight into the script and obviously the life of the film. So nice to meet you. Thank you for coming and stopping off with us today. You know, and I'm sure you're hard at work. You know, getting things together.
Trying to. I don't work hard. I work smart.
Well, this is. The executive producer's given us quite an in-depth insight as to how you guys are working, so
yeah,
I don't even want to keep you here too long.
That's fair enough. Fair enough.
So, writing the script, you know, that this is basically the anchor for this whole vehicle that's moving, you know. How did you formulate the script? How did it come together? We know there's quite a few personal stories attached to it, you know.
Well, it's kind of weird the way the whole story came about, because really it came about with just discussion with me and the executive producer Amos, and I've got this idea for a very long time. It's just a short idea that I just pondered in my head, and what it was is a story that's linked to personal issues that happen in my life and my own concern and view about it. But apart from that,
so it's quite, obviously it's a very emotional subject, okay, and we've already seen the emotional connection at the auditions. You know, I remember a bit earlier on you were saying how much people, you know, it's people already talking about it, and that's just the auditions, you
that's
know.
right.
So let alone when the film is finished, you know, and you've got the final cuts and you're ready to go. What is the longevity of, what's your kind of vision in that sense, do you think, the life of the film?
Obviously, we hope it will last forever. Our core to this movie, our core aspect of this movie is to be able to use this movie to create a platform, one, awareness.
Yeah.
I think in 2020 or something like that, in UK, about 45% of people will have some cancer related, and that is a high proportion of black people as well. And if they don't know the basic checks and everything, how would they know how to prevent it? One is the awareness. Two is the question of faith. How does your faith define you? And how does illness either support, strengthen that faith, or question, undermine your faith? And the third part of it is creating this platform through the film company we're setting up, whereby we can produce quality stuff, materials, not necessarily targeting the minority group, but telling our story. You understand? In a way that not every one of us are gangs, not every one of us dope, deals, drugs. Most of us are just average Joe public that living a normal life and facing with normal issues like cancer, and dealing with it without throwing tantrum, jumping off the window, or blowing the aeroplane, or bumping the bus, or stabbing somebody to death. Just go on the normal way and live a normal life. And this is what the platform we're trying to create with this movie, to tell that story.
So, but obviously in order to, because I mean, what you're essentially doing is, it's a new subject in the sense where, you know, we're not used, as a community, in the black community, there's not many films about cancer.
Absolutely.
Or many films dealing with cancer. I'm struggling to think of any, in fact, that have targeted cancer, you know, or even health issues as on a whole.
That's the key thing, though, and that's where I find it most amazing, because most of these health issues, you look at most of the charity, for instance, even Cancer Research UK, which I'm not name dropping. I hope they support us if you're there, and they don't seem to realize that black people also get cancer. You don't see them in the marketing, you don't see them in the promotion, you don't even see them being targeted.
I was going to raise that point actually, because obviously, you know, we've had lots of requests on Facebook where people have been saying, look, we're jogging, you know, 5 miles, you know, can you support us to raise money for cancer? And a lot of the marketing, a lot of the target audience seems to be very mixed, broad. How about the black community? This is where your project is different.
Absolutely.
Because it's actually focusing on the black community and you know.
Absolutely, it is, and it's focused. Not only that, they all Christian and still die of cancer, but you can be a Christian as well, still live a fullness of life regardless of it, or whatever religion you practice.
Okay, and faith obviously is quite an important subject matter, because at the end of the day, what you're looking at is, you know, there's this dichotomy between having faith and living with cancer. Maybe you shouldn't take drugs or pills or, you know, pharmaceuticals and things like that. So you're still trying to, you know, connect to a, how can you put it, to a practical solution.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, as Amos said before, it's a simple thing to detect whether you have cancer or not.
Absolutely, and there's the fact. You see, this is the key thing for me, right? Regardless of your faith, is it Christian, Judaism, Islam, whatever it is, faith in its very context is defined, could be rational, or could be emotional, could be intellectual, but still does not change the fact that cancer is cancer.
Yes, yeah.
So that does not change the fact.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with it? How does it affect the people around you? How do you relate with people around you, knowing fully when the final curtain is going to come, and you can basically either choose when that time comes, or that time could come in its own time that you know is inevitable.
Yeah.
And what does life says in that context, and how do you deal with life? And those are the kind of psychological element of this movie that makes you question, what do you appreciate more or less?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I said before, this is exactly the kind of projects that we need in the community to strengthen the community in terms of awareness and in terms of how, you know, can deal with life-threatening diseases, deadly diseases, and it cuts across, hopefully, you know, can cut across the whole myriad, from young people. We've been speaking to the young director, Dio, about connecting with young people on serious issues, and obviously the elderly as well. So just to round off, what is the key message through this film? You know, I think it's quite obvious, but I mean, you know, just for the audience to take away, what do you think is the key message about this and the dangers of cancer in this film?
It's funny you ask, because really I've been thinking about that for a while as well. I would say, for a purpose of definition of this interview, the key message to this is understanding the extent of love. How do you sacrifice for it? Because at the end of the day, sacrifice comes in many forms. You can sacrifice in draining your resources, you can sacrifice in giving your life for better good. Because, so it's love, and it's the wisdom of love. It transcends the understanding of man, because it's interrelatable. What is loving might not be to an extent, but how do you classify that? Is it through faith, or through the understanding of life, or the appreciation of life itself? And that's the key thing. And cancer could rob you of that, or could actually redefine it for you.
Okay. There's a lot to think about, I'm sure. And is there any, I think we've got some links already, but is there any more links to, you know, in terms of the Alaco production company? You know, just in case people want to know a bit more about the kind of work you're doing right now?
Well, I mean, I have a production company. It's a production company whereby we're creating this platform that we hope in many years to come we'll be producing quality targeted movie, not solely for minority people, but quality movie telling our stories in different shape or form. And that's the key point of it. I mean, the movie Credence is the first project we're working on right now, and hopefully going forward we'll be doing a lot more. We've got other things already in pipeline. We've got even people approaching us for project right now. Some coming with finance already. Like, oh, no, we got the money. We just need you guys to
get
produce
engaged,
it, to do it, to get engaged with it and produce it. But the key thing for me, my own perspective of this is not in it for any other thing rather than not in it but for the message and the creativity, the purity of it to that standard quality. If it's not meeting that quality, it's not worth doing at all. So that's the key thing. But I want people to go see this movie. Credence is coming out soon. Go see this movie. We need sponsors. We still need sponsors. We need people who want to sponsor or want to market the product placement in this movie. Okay. So if they're interested, they could contact Alaco Production or Alaco Films, or they could go to nupiamanagement.com as well. And between those two entities, they can reach us and find out more,
Brilliant. Thank you. Well, I'm sure the sponsors will come forward, and I'm sure the support will come, because obviously it's a crucial and important project. And the most important thing is it's sowing positive seeds, passing on good knowledge, good wisdom about, about how we can take better care of ourselves, because health is wealth. So thank you, Brother Daniel, for stopping up with us today.
Thank you very much.
Doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
God bless.